On White Line Agents, Colin here, and today is day 23 of Let Me Read the Book for You series. It's Krista Mashore's book, Let's Find Three Clients in 30 Days. And guys, I am sitting here on the east coast of Italy now in an area called Calabria. I'm in a little shop with a friend I just met, and there's some gelato right behind me, and I am looking at the Mediterranean Sea. So if I look really tired, I am, because this time change has just got the better of me. But that's not what we're talking about today. We are talking about day 23, and today we're going to be talking about investor data mining. Okay, so don't wait around for investors to find you, guys. They are out there. They've got money, and you got to learn how to find these people, get in front of them, and we are the investors brokerage. So I'm going to tell you just some tips and tricks. Like I said, these are short videos. If you want to learn more, come meet with us at the syndicate group. Where every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 o'clock. We're working on finding investors, working with it. And you got to remember, guys, wholesalers are already doing this. You are a licensed professional and you can do it better, guys. That's the whole point of having your license. It's the whole part about working with investors is you've got to learn how to do it better than what the guys that are unlicensed doing, because you have the data. So what is investor data mining? Why am I having a hard time saying that? Guys, it is the systematic process of finding, sorting, and targeting property and investor information, guys. Your goal is to build a list of distressed properties and investors that will buy those lists who are actively buying them. You need to be able to figure out both sides of this equation. There's a lot of ways you can do this. Public records, MLS hot sheets, third-party platforms, driving for dollars. Guys, this is what I tell our team every Monday, Wednesday, Friday to do. So let's talk about public records for a second. Guys, we're looking for properties that are distressed when we're talking to investors, because distressed properties are the properties that we can typically get at a good enough discount where it makes sense to be an investor. Like, I'm going to buy this for a lower dollar amount. I'm going to put some money into it and sell it higher, right? So how do I find those lower ones? Unfortunately, guys, you've got to find people that need to sell their house quickly. So this is things like pre-foreclosures. They haven't gone through foreclosure yet, but they're in the process of it. Probates, people that have died, out-of-state people that just inherit a house they don't want to deal with, people that are delinquent on their taxes, people that have constant code violations that are getting fines from the city, all of those kind of things. We also look through the MLS. We call them hot sheets there. How many days has this house been on market? Has there been a lot of price drops in a row? Is it expired? Is it withdrawn? Whatever it might be. And then I also use a lot of third-party platforms, which I'm not going to get into too much, but this is things like Batch Leads and Prop Streams and Propelio and things like that. But I'm going to skip that one for today. That's a whole long story. And then the last one that I really like to do is just driving for dollars. Guys, sometimes you end up with people that inherit properties or own properties, or they had rental properties that have just gone downhill. And I'm sorry, all the noise. They really like their espresso here, and they constantly make espresso. So that's what we're working on, looking for those people to find them. Okay. Now, once you find the property, that's how you find it, right? You go through all those lists, and guys, we have a ton of content on how to do that. And also, you need to come to our meetings to figure that out. Then we want to talk about, like, how do you find data sources for investors, right? The cash buyer lists are huge. That's the biggest deal of all. And the best way to find that is honestly county deed records. Anybody that has a purchase without any financing, anybody that is a non-owner occupied of the house that they're in. All of those things are how you know who are cash buyers or investment buyers, right? Also, in the county records, you can find anybody that owns an LLC. If you find LLCs that own multiple properties, guess what? That guy's probably an investor. You can talk to your title companies. Title companies, they know who's buying a lot of them. They know who the bulk buyers are, right? And then lastly, which is probably the easiest in my opinion, is networking events and meetups and things like that. You need to be getting out there. I always tell everybody, just go to Facebook and look at events and search real estate. I promise you, you will find 50 events that you can go to tomorrow, that you can go out and meet these people, get their contact information, put them in the CRM. It's really a simple thing to do. So how do we filter this data? How do we target it? Yes, data is a great thing, and you want lots of data, but you've got to be able to filter it. You got to clean it up, right? So some of the things that you need to do is you need to know which ones are owner occupied versus absentee. Like, so when you go to the county records and you go look at the county tax assessor, they're going to say things like, it'll say in there, like, here's the property address and here's the owner's mailing address. That's considered an absentee owner. That's somebody who owns the property but doesn't live in it. That's a very good sign of a renter, not always, or a rental owner rather, but not always. How long have they owned it? How much equity do they have in them? How much is their LLC buying? Things like that. So you got to be able to find that. And also another thing when you're filtering is you want to be able to prioritize by motivation, right? People that are in foreclosure, legally in Texas, you have to have 21 days prior to the foreclosure date that you have to file it. So if they file it 21 days before the next first Tuesday of the month, then you know these guys are on fire. They have 21 days to figure something out, or they're going to end up with a foreclosure on their record. So you've got to take all of this data that you can get, and you've got to be able to filter it down to make sense of it, to find out who is the most motivated and who you need to speak to quickly. I do need to make sure when we're talking about finding these leads and finding these investors, guys, the data is out there. There is so much data, so much you can find, but you cannot forget about your do not call list. That is absolutely crucial, guys. You cannot solicit business to people that are doing this. Now, offering to buy their house technically is not a solicitation, but that's not a road you really want to get into an argument about. White line realty, not me personally, but there's been a lot of agents that have gotten sued because they're not looking at the do not call list. Guys, it is not something you want to get sued over. The fines on that are like $50,000 per violation. So make sure you're doing this right, guys. I am not telling you just to call everybody and anybody that you want. You need to go through, do the research, filter it down, and then you need to scrub it against the do not call list. We have videos on how to do that. Please go back and look at previous videos. That is so important. And also, some people are like, oh, I'll get around that. I'll do the ringless voicemail, or I'll start texting them. Guys, there are rules about that too. Don't play loose and fast with this. You need to know what you're doing. You need to make sure you're doing it. And if you have questions, you need to call me, because the last thing you want to do is end up with some $50,000 fine. I think we just had to pay $19,000 to settle a lawsuit over somebody who had a do not call violation. I got to be honest with you, the guy made up a whole bunch of other BS that no way was true, but it doesn't matter because we were at fault, or the agent was at fault. So please be very, very, very careful when you're calling people at random trying to find deals or trying to find investors. You need to make sure that they're open to taking those calls. And here's the whole thing, guys. All of this investor training, you can usually find, if you go to YouTube or Bigger Pockets or something, there's always some wholesaler out there that is like, oh my God, this is how you do it, this, and that. Guy, be careful with what they're saying. These guys are not licensed, and so they can say whatever they want to say. They'll sell you a course for $1 bajillion and never give you the down and dirty part about it. So, but you got to remember, as a licensed agent, you have a lot of advantages, and you also have some disadvantages because you're licensed. You have to be careful when you're doing this, because you're very easy to find, is the fact that you're licensed. And the second thing is the pros of it is that you have multiple exit strategies. If you're working with some investors that are buying, we can offer cash offers. If they don't really want a cash offer, we can put stuff in the MLS for them. We can do rental analysis for them. We can do all kinds of different things for them. But you need to be very, very careful when we're doing this. And I will also say, one of the great things about being licensed over just being a normal wholesaler is that investors want clean data and competent representation. So they want to be able to pull actual MLS listings. They want to see what the rental comps are, actual sold comps, not what somebody thinks it's for. If you are in the investing circle at all, you have gotten some email from a wholesaler that says, oh, this house, I'm selling it to you for $100,000. It needs $3 worth of rehab, and when you're done, it's going to be worth $6 million. They really skewed these numbers. So investors are looking for real and true data, because most wholesalers don't know what they're talking about, right? They watched some course online, or they did something for, they paid a couple $100 and got some class, and they're full of crap. You can do that, and you can be competent with that data. And you need to remain competent, and you need to realize who you are and what you're doing. Disclose, disclose, disclose. I will never tell you not to disclose something. If you're wholesaling a deal, sub-2ing a deal, whatever it might be, you need to explain to them how it works, what you're doing, and why you're doing it that way. And then you need to do that on the investor side as well. So we have the data, we have all that stuff. We just have to be very, very careful with doing that. So what is today's action step? What are we doing today? And I need you to pull one distressed property. Okay. I need you to figure out how to do one distressed property. And if you don't know how to do it, you can come by, see me, call me, we'll talk. But all you have to do is find the probate list. Guys, that is available from every county in the state of Texas. You have to file probates with the county. So if you go down to the county clerk's office, they can help you with that. That's also where you find things like pre-foreclosures or the tax delinquent list. Well, the tax delinquent list comes from somewhere else, but go find the county clerk, and you can just Google it, Bear County Clerk. It's called publicsearch.tx. Something, I don't know. I have to look it up. But go in there and find that list, and I want you to be able to find it. And I need you to be able to also go out and do some mingling with investors. I need you to find one event that you can go to where you can meet some investors, guys. The whole point of White Line Realty, why we were founded, is because we are investors. And most investors, most realtors don't understand investors, and it's really frustrating. And so I want to teach you how to do this. We will do a lot more of an investor series at a later date, but for right now, go meet investors. Find investor meetups, go find them, and go practice polling distressed properties. See if you can find it. I guarantee you, like San Antonio's in Bear County compliance violations. You will find that list, and you can see there are thousands of properties on there. Go drive for dollars. Go drive by that property. See if it's still in bad shape. If it's still in bad shape, then you know you have a property that somebody may have a hard time keeping up with. They may live there, they may not, it may be vacant. There's a lot of things you can do. But first thing you have to do before you call them, before you talk to them, is you need to practice. You need to go see what it looks like. You need to figure it out, and you need to go talk to investors and meet these guys at meetups. There's a ton of them, and talk to those people and say, hey, what are you looking for? What kind of spread are you looking for? What is your particular exit strategy? What do you like to do? Figure that out, guys. Once you meet these investors, put them in your CRM. So I'm going to summarize this pretty quick. Find out how to look at distressed properties. I'm not saying to do anything with them yet, but figure it out. The second thing is go meet some investors. Talk to them, figure it out, and put it in the CRM. That is your action step for today. I need you to do that today. It doesn't take a lot of time to do that. Find your next event that you can go to. Facebook's a great way to do that. Once you go to one Facebook event, talk to those people, say, hey, what other events do you go to? Figure out how to get on those lists. That's literally what I do. Don't be a wallflower. Get out there and talk to them. And I will see you guys tomorrow for our next lesson.